In August of 2015, Montana got a rather rude surprise when the Environmental Protection Agency released its final rule for the Clean Power Plan, which is a plan aimed at reducing CO2 emissions and other greenhouse gas emissions from fossil fuel-powered electric generating stations. The surprise for Montana was that the target that Montana had to hit in order to comply with the regulation was greatly increased, and in fact, the target was actually higher than that of any other state in the country. And this completely changed the landscape in terms of the ways in which the state of Montana could comply with a regulation aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions and aimed at bringing about some changes to man-made global warming. My center, the Bureau of Business Economic Research, conducted a study of the possible implications of compliance with that new higher target, what it would mean for the Montana economy. Much has happened since we released that study, which was November 2015. The Supreme Court in particular has issued a stay on the enforcement of the Clean Power Plan based on some lawsuits that were filed by some of the states involved. The timetable for compliance with the plan was halted temporarily, but that of course can be restarted at any time. This study, while not necessarily a prediction of what will happen in Montana as a result of compliance to the Clean Power Plan, tells us really three basic things about our economy and our electric grid that were not perhaps as apparent before the study was carried out. The first thing we learned in the study was actually an old lesson, and that is that the operation of the Colstrip steam electric station in southeast Montana and Rosebud County is actually a big generator of economic livelihood for a good portion of the state. I say that's old news because my colleague Paul Polson and myself already looked into that question in 2010. We analyzed what the continuing contributions of the Colstrip steam electric station were to the Montana economy, both in terms of jobs, income, tax revenue, population, and so forth. And we found those effects to be large, quite significant in fact, and that's for a number of reasons. Those coal plants, those steam electric stations in Colstrip purchase a product which is made in Montana, namely coal. It's a big portion of their expenditures, and that tends to keep more money within the state economy as a result of the activity of those electric power plants. A second reason is the fact that those power plants pay wages with benefits substantially in excess of the state average. And therefore, the kind of spending power of the employees of that plant make a big impact on the economy as they spend the dollars in the community. A third reason why that plant was so significant, the ongoing operations of the plant were significant, is because of the tax implications for all energy in Montana, but particularly for coal. As the coal severance tax payments in part go to the Coal Trust Fund, that in part is a fund which helps fund projects across the state, infrastructure projects of all kinds in all counties. In addition to that is the property tax, not just of the plant, not just of the mine which feeds the plant, but also of all the infrastructure that serves that plant, in particular the 500 kV transmission line, which goes from Colstrip and goes west through the state to the Pacific Northwest, where its customers are ultimately served. So all those entities pay property tax, and therefore the operations of that plant are a big deal for the economy.